us while we're still alive. You didn't even take time to notice the distinct lack of color. Lives lost to the plague in this rat race. And the only difference between yourself and the crazy man who stalks Main Street, and you found yourself. Victim of a hit and run. Left on the roadside to rot and be reclaimed by the concrete and the soil. Can't you see? Death is not the greatest loss. The greatest loss is what dies inside us while we're still alive. You didn't even take time to notice the distinct lack of color. Lives lost to the plague and this rat race. And the only difference between yourself and the crazy man who stalks Main Street, he found himself on the park bench. And you found yourself at the bottom of a prescription bottle.
Lights on me, lights on me kinda pretty. I see the day all dancing on me. Lights on me, lights on me kinda pretty. I see the day all dancing on me. Lights on me, lights on me kinda pretty. I see the day all dancing on me.
and headstones, and your heart. In this pit of souls, it's like a dead bird, victim of a hit and run.
Lights on me, kinda pretty. I see the day all dancing out of me, 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 out of
In this pit of souls,
me,
it's like a dead bird, victim of a hit and run. Left on the roadside to rot and be reclaimed by the concrete and the soil.
Yo. Sam. We back, bitches. Yeah. Good grip on that hood shit. Full flame from the pulpit. Bad bitch don't take shit. Fuck last week, been dead since. In the muck, duck one time. Kill them all with one line. From the swamp, from the grime. Ain't with the game, no shucking job. And no south of the mouth is go. Chain hang low where the demons go. Cats don't talk, they plead the fifth. One disappears and the body see shit. On a different plane. Take it outside, it's all insane. Say right quick, real simple and plain. Sad B, motherfucker, y'all know. No room in hell, the Vegas go down. And the guest list is closed. Ain't no plus ones allowed. And the devil locked his door. No room in hell. Niggas come quick. The air's getting thick. When the dead start to rise. And there's no place to hide. No room in hell. The Vegas go down. And the guest list is closed. Ain't no plus ones allowed. And the devil locked his door. No room in hell. Niggas come quick. The air's getting thick. When the dead start to rise. There's no place to hide. Eating brain won't get in brains. Conductor on my zombie train. All aboard, kill abroad, leave 'em bloody. Sofa stain, won't play games, no slick talk. Devil dick like a pitchfork. No super suit, no bat cave. Just shrunken heads and dead stock. I'm Mossberg, I'm Tupac. B.I.G. with 2 Glocks. Big L from hell and back. Collecting heads in my knapsack. Ghost rider with no chains. Spawn light with no curve. Demon child like Hunger Games. Chase a bitch, no escape. No room in hell. The Vegas go down. And the guest list is closed. Ain't no plus ones allowed. And the devil locked his door. No room in hell. Niggas come quick. The air's getting thick. When the dead start to rise. And there's no place to hide. When the Vegas go down. And the guest list is closed. Ain't no plus ones allowed. And the devil locked his door. No room in hell. Niggas come quick. The air's getting thick. When the dead start to rise. There's no place to hide.
I ain't going to hell. Let them know I won't need a lease. I stay hungry, I need a feast. I'm like, didn't I tell you don't feed the beast? Went and got a little holy water, then put it all in my Jesus piece. Got it wet like she seen the beach, and I think your girl is gonna need a priest. Say I'm ill when I'm overseas. Couldn't see how that's not true. And my jewelry look like it caught flu, and my neck is looking like hot chill. Girl, you got to be psychic. If you think that I'm crazy, I will show you my good side. But what have you done for me lately? Every day will be heavenly when she called me up and I stopped through. Every day I look to the sky and I thank God that I'm not
no
you.
No room in hell. The Vegas go down. And the guest list is closed. Ain't no plus ones allowed. And the devil locked his door. No room in hell. Niggas come quick. The air's getting thick. When the dead start to rise. And there's no place to hide. When the Vegas go down. And the guest list is closed. Ain't no plus ones allowed. And the devil locked his door. No room in hell. Niggas come quick. The air's getting thick. When the dead start to rise. There's no place to hide. In hell. No room in when the elevators go down. And the guest list is closed. Ain't no plus ones allowed. And the devil locked his door. The niggas come quick. The air's getting thick. When the dead start to rise. And there's no place to hide. When the elevators go down. And the guest list is closed. Ain't no plus ones allowed. And the devil locked his door. The niggas come quick. The air's getting thick.
I walk in, Ric Flairin', long fur coat wearing, Rolex rockin', silk shirt wearing, silk socks in, balls need to breathe so bitch the draw's cotton, cause you gon' suck me when you leave in a big Benzer, on the Windsors, with your homegirl LaQuinta, who said she never did but she would try it, and now she higher than the fucking highest, she jet setting, more wetting, the God blesses, against him prospers no weapon, champagning, campaigning, gator shoes high stepping, my dopey eyes just hide behind my Dita frame, I heard this nigga say he don't like me, well he the lame.
It's not your fault, baby. We were just here, born to shine.
I walk with a spot on me, my life's a sax solo. The neon sign fits when I pass in all slow-mo. You don't give the nod, you'd rather not even know me. Cause even me existing is killing your bitch mojo. I dance like a JoJo will blow, I cut a rug to a hole. Polo undies got my nuts in a toe. I'm often stuck in the smoke. The jukebox cut on without coins, I'm a magical blow. A barracuda, you chunk for the simple fact that you don't know how to float. Another tragedy aborted, I'm a bad news bear, babe. I'm armed with a hanger of coats. You get bold, now your mom's got a new lease on life, a new hope.
It's not your fault, baby. We were just here, born to shine.
A nigga like me just pull up, flight club, foreign or domestic, international player but also locally respected. Savannah chillin', pimpin', drippin' and stankin' like the juice do. Since baby needed Pampers and that Lincoln needed them new shoes. Make them call me BB King because I get that bitch the blues. Now she down on bended knee because she wanna lick the jewels. And I'm slick, bout to run up in her smooth with this dick. Take a couple Polaroids to capture the moment. Now she's caught up in the rapture of this Mac and where your hoe went. In the back of the Cadillac she gagging, ass and titties showing. As a matter of fact, I'm about to splash her with this Billy Ocean. Watch her rub it on her face, I call it Johnson's baby lotion.
It's not your fault, baby. We were just here, born to shine. Can't build up this whole damn house and shine. Stepping all your fuckboy clowns and shine. I'm like Mr. Brown and shine. I'm moonwalking, wanna kiss myself and shine. You having all your bitches out and
You pimpin', dog. That's it. No questions.
Motherfucker, I can speak to crows, I see through their eyes. I can hear the truth behind the wickedest lies. I can snap my fingers and make fire appear. I see visions of the future through a crack in the mirror. I'm supernatural, I turn water to ice. With my bare hands, I don't need a freezer device. I can bend the spoon, tie it up in a knot without touching it once. True powers I got. I can spit hot acid, I can see in the dark. Because I'm supernatural and I'm living my part. I can levitate cards, but I'm not a magician. Cause my magic is official while these others are wishing. I can read your palm, I got the telekinesis. Concentrate on a piece of fruit and blow it to pieces. I can see through walls and guess the color you're wearing before you walk in the room. My super psyche is glaring. I can close my eyes and read the page of a book. I can tell you where your keys of my heart. The only bone that comes with it is the hard part.
I can feel the pain of the dead, the angry dead, the lost and alone. I feel them banging my head. They yell for someone else, but I can hear them instead. I can hear them instead. I can hear them instead. I feel the pain of the dead, the angry dead, the lost and alone. I feel them banging my head. They yell for someone else, but I can hear them instead. I can hear them instead. I can hear them instead.
Supernatural without the hat tricks. Sometimes I find I'm floating just above my mattress. I don't have to hit the switch to cut the lights on. I don't have to say check
To know my mic's on.
I got the ESP extraordinarily. So much my mama used to say, okay, you scaring me. I can tell you what hand you got the ball in. Without the ID, I can always tell who's calling. I can melt a candle down just by staring at it. If I keep glaring at it, steady wearing at it. The wind blows every time I walk outside. Dogs don't bark, they howl.
Most cats hide.
Cause I'm supernatural like a vampire. See me hold out my hand and withstand fire. I can turn it all on or off as I go. The only part I can't control
It's when I feel the pain of the dead, the angry dead, the lost and alone. I feel them banging my head. They yell for someone else, but I can hear them instead. I can hear them instead. I can hear them instead. I feel the pain of the dead, the angry dead, the lost and alone. I feel them banging my head. They yell for someone else, but I can hear them instead. I can hear them instead. I can hear them instead.
Sunday school is a place for fools. It's hot in hell, but the devil's cool. Don't keep Satan waiting. Don't keep Satan waiting. So don't just sit there, join the club. Sell your soul to Beelzebub.
Hey, hello everybody. It is I, Count Jackula, your favorite satanic streamer, here yet again with another satanic stream. Tonight, my guest is Mitch Wallace from Penny for a Tale. He did a game called Necrobiotic, and he's also worked on the TTRPG for the comic Chew. It's a role-playing game for your tabletop where you can pretend to be someone who gets their power from eating food.
Yeah.
And sometimes the food is people.
It usually is.
Yeah, it usually is, and that's something I appreciate. Being someone who also makes a game where people eat people.
I know, right? I'm
Wow.
excited to see back the Kickstarter when it comes out.
Oh, geez, like, that second draft is it's coming along, man.
You're close
It's
though,
coming along.
right?
We're very close. Yeah, we are very, very close. Like, basically, as soon as the Kickstarter, all the elements of the Kickstarter are made, it goes live. But that might be for another couple. That our target date is early October.
Yeah, that's a good time, especially for the themes of it.
Yeah, for a game that is basically one half Clive Barker, the other half From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah.
That is going. Hopefully, that will be really, really good. But unfortunately, I am at that point. For some reason, I sit down every day. I work on it every day. Things get done every day. In fact, they get done faster than they have ever gotten done. But I keep feeling like I'm not doing anything.
Yeah, I feel it's kind of the creative's dilemma is the slow crawl, but also looking back and like maybe I haven't really accomplished much. And sometimes you're just like going over the same page over and over until you're confident that you want to move it forward.
Yeah. Because I know for me, like one of my big worries is that I am not explaining things properly. Because that's a terrible thing to have happen for a role-playing game. Just put it out there, go through all this trouble, and then have everyone go, what the fuck does this even mean?
Yeah, and like, even many times as you try to do it, there'll always be a few people who are like, I don't understand this, or I wouldn't have done it this way.
A couple of people who like don't understand it, but to me, I don't know, what do you call it? What do you call the like? Here's my prime example of what not to do. My prime example of how not to explain a game system has got to be Mage the Awakening.
Yeah, Mage. I mean, Shadowrun. I feel the way it's laid out is very confusing, and that has been for several iterations.
The problem with Shadowrun, the reason I don't put it in the same category is that the system itself is confusing. I ran that thing for like 5 years straight every week, and I never felt like I had a handle on it. Not even once. And I was like, I've been doing this for like better part of a decade. I don't know if I understand the system. That's bad.
Yeah,
that's a bad system.
It's never great. I've never gone into it where I'm like, yeah, I'm very confident about what I'm making here. It's always been like, who knows,
Yeah, you never know if they've understood it until they explain something back to you. Or they ask a question that demonstrates that they got it, but there was maybe this one detail they didn't understand.
Yeah. But that's kind of like
oh no, Fatal as a game system is perfectly explained. It's just unplayable. It tells you everything to do. It's just pointless.
It's not great.
It's not good at all, But like one of my things, like the reason I bring up Mage the Awakening, second edition, actually, it's specifically second edition. I liked Mage the Awakening, but I hated all of the Atlantis stuff because fuck Atlantis. But I liked the Watchtowers. I liked We're on YouTube at the moment, by the way, if you had a question.
Oh,
about
you
that.
too. Okay, I was on your Twitch. I was like,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I do Twitch on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and that's largely gaming. That's where the
Right.
confusion came in. The talk show portion happens on YouTube, and that's Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
All right, I'll pop in.
Yeah. So, Mage of the Awakening, the magic system was actually a gigantic improvement over first edition, but you wouldn't know that because it's explained so poorly that you find yourself going, wait, what am I doing again? But the rules actually do make sense. And like me and a couple of friends actually went to, because we were playing Mage of the Awakening, we went to the trouble of rewriting the magic rules chapter.
Oh, nice.
We just completely rewrote it, not changing anything. We didn't change any of the mechanics. We just re-explained it. And everyone was like, oh, wait, why did they make the first question? Why did they make the first question you have to ask whether or not it's a ritual? That makes no sense. Like, that should be obvious.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's why we just separated it into ritual casting and spontaneous spell casting, because you know which one you're doing. So
Yeah,
why go through this whole flow chart of like fucking options when really it just comes down to, okay, it's your charisma stat.
mm-hmm.
You know, for this it's your charisma stat. For that one it's manipulation. Or actually, I don't think Chronicles did Chronicles have manipulation?
Like the whole like Chronicles of Darkness with like, oh man, I am drawing a blank. It's been so long. I feel like I've been messing around too much with Masquerade.
Also, I also got to be honest. I also thought that like splitting charisma and manipulation into two stats was a bad idea. That was just so they could have 9, but I'm like, but if you want 9 stats, one of them should just be perception.
Yeah, and they really tried to shoehorn it, and I think like their main thing was trying to like do the top abilities of like your power stats, strength, intelligence, and I guess it was charisma. Then your finesse stats like dex, wits. I forgot what the charisma version
was
of it
manipulation.
Yeah, and then willpower, stamina, and resolve.
Yeah, and I was just like, why do that? Why not just have well, for example, like instead of that, why not have intuition, which is your social awareness? You know?
Yeah, it's certainly more finessey, I feel.
Yeah. So like you could be like, all right, that'd be that'd be the same as the insight check. You could just be like, yeah, I make an intuition roll.
Yeah, especially when like perception was a combination of wits and composure in the Chronicles of Darkness thing.
Yeah, which was, I understood why they do that, because you roll perception so fucking often.
It's so much in every TTRPG. It's the comfort blanket of the role player.
You know, and the thing is it's a bit of a comfort blanket, but at the same time, you don't really want to get rid of it, because there's something about actually making everyone roll a perception check.
Yeah,
I think it tells them it's time to pay attention, without actually just telling them that.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of like ensuring the players know, like, whenever it is rolled, that it'll matter. I think I was in one game where someone just kept asking for perception checks in like every room. And eventually it just becomes tedious because you're like, not every room is gonna have something. But
yeah, that's why I was always like, no. The game master asks you to make a perception check, because in Babylon we split it. We did have to have a notice stat, which works weirdly. Works a little bit. There are 2 oddball stats. Spellcasting and notice. Those are your oddball stats.
Did we play around with those in the campaign? It's been
We
like what, a
did.
year,
We
right?
did. We did play around with them, and basically, but further tests kind of bore out that if you had to spend skill points on notice, it sucked.
Yeah.
So we had to find another way to give people an ability to do that, and this is what we kind of landed upon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hopefully, in future editions, we'll have a more elegant solution. But right now, it's like the weird thing that like I'm just gonna live with in first edition.
Yeah, I mean that
Um,
sometimes, like, what is it? Perfection's the enemy of good or something like that,
Perfection is the enemy within.
Yeah.
Is the way I always say it, you know. And or another way of saying it, as a director friend of mine often says, that it's better than good. It's good enough.
Yeah, exactly. Eventually it just has to come out, and like there's always going to be people who like loudly
Yeah. Well,
will chastise it or criticize it, but like for the most part, like, everyone will enjoy it. I remember with Necro, the Kickstarter, like there was like one or two people who really didn't enjoy it, but like they're always like the loudest people too. And so you see them on the comments and stuff, but then there's like 1,000 other people who are silent, so you assume like they at least enjoy it for the most part. There's always
yeah.
like one or two people who are like, oh yeah, I gotta make this known.
Yeah, it's really difficult, you know. I've been trying
Mhm.
to make sure that everyone understands the selling points. You know, like you play a monster, you're fighting angels, and
Yeah.
it's the modern day. You know, like
Oh,
that's
what
the
did I play? I played a zombie,
yeah.
right?
You played a ghoul,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
that was
because
awesome.
I wanted to have ghouls be a combination of like zombie and the folkloric a Middle Eastern folklore creature.
Yeah, yeah.
You
That
know,
was awesome.
yeah,
That was a really fun campaign.
yeah. I actually saw there's actually a Netflix series. Actually, I forget. I think it is actually like Iranian. I can't remember what country made it, but it's a Middle Eastern country, and it was called Ghoul, and it is about a bunch of people who have from local government who have come to clean up this kind of gitmo like prison. And in the prison, there is one guy, and that guy is the ghoul.
Mhm.
And of course, he kills everybody. But they make a really interesting connection between the ghoul, the jinn, and the rakshasa. And they're all kind of the same. They all eat people. They all shape change. They're all illusionists. And they seem to have no other goal than to drive people insane. You know, and so of course it turns out that the guy who's telling them this is the ghoul. You know, because that's the other thing, he's a shape changer. And I'm also really fascinated with one of the creatures I did want to put in, but it's like, ooh, I have to decide how I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Which is the jinn. You know, because when you look at what the jinn are, you're like, they're like a weird combination of like demon and fairy.
Yeah.
You know, they're a lot like the trolls of Nordic folklore. Like they change shape, they hide in your house, they steal your baby. You know, like they do stuff like that. Or they live in a well. There's a jinn now in your well, and you just have to live with it. It's like, but what if I go in there and, try to cast it out with the power of the Koran? And all the magicians, the folkloric magicians, there's actually a word for them, in
Yeah.
in the Middle Eastern, various Middle Eastern languages, but I don't know what it is. But basically, you ask the sorcerer, and the sorcerer said, "Oh no, you can't be. You can't be like expelling it with the Quran. they possess free will. The jinn have free will. It was given to them by Allah. So that's no more effective than shouting that at a Christian. I mean, maybe it'll go away, but they might also just get angry, and they have supernatural powers, so that's a really bad idea. You know, you could, but one thing that you could do is like go to the well every day and read to the jinn from the Quran, and he might convert.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you might do that, but like that's the slow way of doing things. Like you want to call in a sorcerer who, like, you know, just like, all right, jinn, get the fuck out of that well, sick your shit. You know, I've got the power of the word, you know, so fuck you. And hey, be careful, or I'll start bringing arithmetic into this shit, you know. Like, so it turns out the Middle East and like fucking China have a lot in common that way, because that is, both of those is kind of how the magic works. I either shout at you, or if I want to get real angry, I start bringing math into it.
Yeah.
Then the creature's like, oh no, algebra, what do I do? You know?
Coriolis had a lot of like Middle Eastern horror with jinn and stuff in it, and they're coming out with a second edition. I think they just kickstarted it. Yeah, Coriolis by Free League. It was like one of their first games, like that, Symbaroum, and Mutant Year Zero were Free League's like foundational games when they first were coming out.
Third Horizon.
Yeah,
I never heard of this.
it's a
science
really
fiction game. Oh, okay.
Yeah, but like with
wait, how
Jinn,
did Jinn come into this?
so it's based on Middle Eastern religion as well as aesthetics. Like everyone kind of dresses in kind of a Middle Eastern fashion, and there are like the dark thing in space, and some of the like weird creatures, supernatural entities you can find in like these haunted ships are jinn and other like Middle Eastern folklores. It was really interesting. I don't know what they're going to do with the new edition. I had heard that they were trying to like cut back on some of like the devil aspects of it.
Oh, don't do that. That's something that
I know,
sets
right?
it apart. Enhance that, if anything. Just go full fucking
Yeah, go full Event Horizon.
Fucking Event Horizon.
Yes.
You know, like don't get rid of the thing that just keeps it from being another boring science fiction game. You know?
Yeah, that's what, like, I'm hoping they don't cut back too much of it, and I really wish they would have just pushed more of it, but we'll see what the final product is.
Yeah, that would be like 40K getting rid of the Imperium of Man. You'd be like, what? Come on.
Have you seen was it the Nightmares and Dreams and Daydreams, Nightmares and Daydreams on Netflix?
Oh, I haven't seen that yet. I haven't watched it yet.
It's a Indian kind of horror short, so in the same vein as, I think, what's the other one that Robert was it Del Toro? Del Toro did, you know, his like
the Cabinet of Curiosities.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It was in the same like weird horrorness as that. It just came out on Netflix not too long ago. So I wouldn't be surprised, but like it's been interesting because I feel like we've gotten a lot of South Korean horror. We've of course have explored a lot of European and American and stuff like that, some Japanese horror, but now we're getting like I guess with Netflix bringing in more like Middle Eastern and Indian stuff. We get to see like what their take and visual perspective of horror is.
Have you seen the movie Under the Shadow?
I have not, but now I'm going to put it in my like to-do list.
That is, I believe it's, I can't remember. I think it's Iraqi. It's either, no, it's Iranian. It's an Iranian film set during the takeover of the Ayatollah, you know, the rise of the Taliban. And Under the Shadow means a couple of things. One, obviously a bomb. Because like Del Toro, there is the threat of a bomb going off. But the other shadow is a jinn. And the jinn takes the form of a hijab. and the main
Ooh.
character is a woman, and so this like living fucking hijab burqa is trying to envelop and strangle her. I mean, the metaphor is way on the nose.
Yeah, yeah.
It's way on the nose because it is about how Iran went from being a reasonably liberal and progressive country to, where it is now, where it is like, like a religious hegemony, you know, or what did someone call it? Religious autocracy, religious
Yeah.
tyranny, and how we think of the Middle East is always having been that way, but actually hasn't. It actually hasn't, but it does go through periods of it. It goes through these periods of like fundamentalist religious control. And the one we're seeing now is simply the most recent revolution of that. And, of course, people are like, God, I hope that ends soon.
Yeah.
But of course that it gets into geopolitics and like basically my whole thing about like Saddam Hussein was an evil man, but killing him was the worst thing we could have done.
hmm
It just
It's
threw the entire area into chaos, including Iran, who was already like, they were starting to come out of the control of the Taliban. Hussein died. Just put the kibosh on all that. Oh, it's so upsetting. So when people are like, oh no, man, the desert, it's a land of jinn. And they're all these tricky assholes who fucking, all they want to do is fuck with us. And yeah, you kind of get it. You
yeah.
kind of get it. The lower class has the fear of has this kind of fear of the clergy gaining political power, while those in political power fear democracy.
Yeah. And like I don't know if you ever seen there was an episode of Black Mirror that came out I guess in their latest season called Demon 79.
Oh,
Which follows in the UK an Indian immigrant who is kind of like having a difficult time because she's a foreigner in a foreign land, but then gets propositioned by a demon to kill a certain amount of people or else the world ends. Um, and that was a fascinating
so
Black Mirror
that's like
episode.
oh, I see. So like that's one where it wasn't about technology; it was more supernatural.
Yeah, yeah, it was. Yeah, it was very supernatural with it. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
it was very different from what they usually do. It was really cool though.
Yeah. Well, like one of a story that I would like to do
hmm
would be about it would have to be set in Britain, but it would be about the 7/7 bombing,
Oh yeah.
which was like their 9/11 essentially.
Yeah.
I would like to do that and basically have a tale where it's all about everyone thinks that it is about one known terrorist faction or another. But as we know, with the 7/7 bombing, it was like, oh, no, that's not what it was. It was completely unexpected where all that shit came out of and where that came from.
Yeah.
So basically you have all these people who are like at each other's throats over this thing, and of course it turns out no, it was none of them. It was
Well, they had
absolutely none of them.
kind of another somewhat political, but also like this really good horror TV series set in France. This one was called Mortel, um, which I think started off 2019 and has about 2 seasons. But that one, like, it was really interesting because it not only pulled from like French mythos, but a lot of like what I believe to be African as well. So it was kind of like this
Mm,
weird merger of these two different countries that I had no idea were kind of meshed up together, but seeing it together was really enjoyable.
yeah. man. So how was Gen Con? I know you went to Gen Con.
Gen Con was good. It was probably the best time I've ever had at Gen Con. Um, yeah, nothing like I usually like Gen Con usually is kind of like bad luck for me. But this year it was all right. Like
Why is it usually bad luck?
just like something always comes up that usually just kind of throws the whole con into disarray. This year it was like the first time I was on the convention hall. My glasses fell apart, so I couldn't see.
Oh no.
So I had to find someone to help me, and then they handed me these instruments to fix my glasses, but I'm blind, so I can't really
Yeah,
put
you
it
couldn't.
together.
It's hard to do it
Yeah,
yourself.
which
when
is
you
such an
can't see it.
irony. Yeah, they're like, here's a glass repair kit, but you will need someone else with good vision in order to do it.
Oh,
Uh,
jeez. Or at least
yeah,
a functioning pair of glasses and a slight mechanical
yeah,
skill.
exactly. Yeah, and I was just like walking around. I saw people, and they were like, "Hey, Mitch," and I was like, "I don't know who you are because I can't see your face.
Oh
It's all
no.
just blobby."
Oh
Um,
no.
but yeah, other than that, it was good. I did two panels. One was how to role play or make decisions without a D20, and the other one was just publishing that I did with MythWorks, who does the Wild Seed TTRPG. Um, and then I did like a Wild Seed show on Saturday.
Oh.
So yeah, all of it was pretty fun.
I have determined, having talked to a lot of printers and made a lot of price checks, and
Yeah,
I have come to the conclusion that I will be printing in China.
yeah. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, because I can't be charging people 50, $60.
It's
Like,
tough. It's a
that's
lot, especially when like your competition and at a convention, you have that limited funds, so you're always like,
like
okay, how many of this can I get?
yeah, like okay, let me give you an example. Here is another niche thing, you know. Okay,
Ooh, which one is that?
this is the Nocturnals Omnibus #1. There are two of them. Have you
Oh,
ever
is
read the
a
Nocturnals?
no, is this a
Oh,
comic book?
it's
Yeah,
a comic.
graphic.
Yeah,
Ooh,
it's a comic book. It's thick as fuck, full color,
ooh.
you know, beautiful. Cover price $30.
Oh wow, that feels cheap for that. Like, holy heck.
Yeah, and I'm like, wait, you made that, you printed that for 30, but and you can make a profit on $30. What the fuck are we doing? What the fuck are we doing? Especially now. Because everyone's like,
Mhm.
oh, the economy is great. And I'm like, yeah, but people have no spending money still.
Yeah, and like when politics and news always say like the economy is great, I feel like it always affects people who aren't us. It's
Yeah.
it's like out there. It's kind of like the stocks, like when it rises and falls, it doesn't really affect us down below. It just kind of
It
we're
affects our
here and
401ks and shit, but like
yeah.
other than that,
But
not really.
but I don't have a 401k, so it's kind of
Me
like
neither. The Countess does, thank God.
yeah,
You know.
yeah.
But I'm just looking at that and going like, if my book fucking looked that good, I'd be super happy. And I'd love
I
to be
know,
able to
right?
sell it for $30.
Yeah.
Because hello, I feel like that's where a lot of the prices should be, because I feel like we've forgotten the art of the supplement.
Yeah, yeah.
You
It's
know,
tough because like from probably every designer except for maybe one or two, the general consensus has been like supplements, like doesn't really make that much money. Not for like the time and effort that it takes to make one.
yeah, but it's like it's
Which
not
is
as much
sad.
time and effort as it is to make a core book.
Yeah, yeah.
You
It's
know,
kind of like this funnel, right? Like if you have a certain amount of people who buy your core book, you're gonna have like a smaller percentage buy the supplement. So it's like unless your
Unless
numbers are
you
pretty big for
figure
the
out
first one.
how to see. Here's the thing that I thought was kind of genius about what White Wolf did. Their
Hmm.
supplements would actually bring you into the product.
Hmm.
You know, well, maybe not like Chicago by Night, but a lot of the other stuff, like, oh, we'll put out another Vampire Player's Guide.
Yeah, or like
Eh,
one focus on like Mexico or yeah.
something like that. And I'm like, well, that's a way to do it. The other one that I thought had a really good idea, but it didn't. It seems to work for them, but I found myself going like, no, you could turn this into an actual bona fide supplement, and I think it would do way better. Is Pathfinder, and the way they
Yeah.
did their adventure. I forget what they
Adventure
called them. The
pass
adventure
and stuff
pass
like that, which
ads.
always
Yeah.
add like new feats and magic items and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. So you're kind of like incentivized to buy it or at least know about it, which just adds more publicity to it.
Yeah. But I keep finding myself going like, White Wolf did books that size with the original clan books, but it was all player stuff.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, it
It's just
was.
like White Wolf and Paizo, of course, are operating on like numbers that are, drastically different from like, first Kickstarter or like
Mm-hmm.
beginner TTRPG people.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like working to get to the point where you can release a supplement
Yeah.
and the numbers kind of justify it.
But I think that's going to be the path I follow for the simple reason that this is a world that I feel comfortable just writing shit for. You know, like I could just work on this and I probably wouldn't get sick of it for several years. Whereas if I moved on to another property immediately, I would probably burn out.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. Like it's way too much. And yeah, it's just cultivating that audience.
Yeah. I mean, there is one supplement that I'm thinking of doing that might turn into its own game.
Ooh.
Um,
And you could always do like the Mutant Year Zero, what they did, which was like every book after the first one was like its own book, but also could be considered a supplement and added on to the base game.
yeah,
So you can kind of enter in any way that you wanted.
yeah. Also, I kind of like actually, the covers I'm really jealous of are some of the City of Mist covers.
They are gorgeous.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
look really good. But like one of the ones that's in the back of my mind right now is we don't know what to call it right now. We're just calling it backcountry, but we might
Mhm.
call it um lo- uh the lovely dark woods,
That's a good name.
you know. And it's the same idea. You're still playing a monster, but rather than playing one in a city, which is Babylon,
Mhm.
this one would be, yeah, you're a member of like you're like a park ranger, and you might be a monster. You might also just be like a normal human, or at least you think you're a normal human when you start. Um, and shit is happening in your territory. Shit is happening in your woods, and you have to deal with it. You have to figure out what's going on. People go missing all the time, you know. And it's really just about, rather than it being about um rebellion, which is Babylon. This is all about creating order out of chaos and trying to discover things which are somewhat unknowable. But you're also like a vampire or a werewolf or something like that. But maybe you got to keep it on the down low because there's a human in your group and you don't want them knowing.
Yeah,
You
I've always
know,
liked the
so it's a little more
uh
paranoid. You know,
yeah.
could you be
I
a
really
slasher? Ooh.
Oh yeah, you can, right? Or
Yeah, well, that's what the Night Stalker is.
yeah.
The Night Stalker is essentially a slasher.
You should run more Babylon. on the stream, man.
Oh, I definitely intend to. I definitely intend to. That's going to be part of the. That's going to be one part of the Kickstarter's marketing.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
God, I like. I'm worried about even thinking about that. I want. I just want that page done first before I.
The page is everything.
Yeah, before I just go out and like do the whole like marketing blitz, because
Yeah. Though
I know
if
it's
you're
going to be swing and a miss, swing and a miss, swing and a miss, hit,
yeah.
swing and a miss, swing and a miss, swing and a miss, bunt, swing and a miss, swing and a miss, swing and a miss. Okay, I got to first base. Like
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're going for October, I mean, soon, if anything, you should submit it so that you can get your like pre-launch page up, and you can still edit the homepage after the pre-launch page
oh,
is
that's a
up, but
good
at least you
point.
can start collecting like those pre-launch stuff, you know?
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. You could be a holy man. Yeah. That was actually like one of the ideas is that you might be an occultist, but you might also be like a Buddhist novitiate.
Hmm.
You're a Shinto novitiate or something, where it's just sort of like, okay, like there's supposed to be like a bit more geomancy involved, whereas geomancy exists in Babylon, but it's not the big focus.
Yeah. What were all the classes that you guys had?
Okay, so the classes are apostle, um, which is you worship a dark god.
Hmm.
The cryptid keeper, which you train supernatural critters. The night stalker, which is kind of a slasher killer. The muscle, self-explanatory. The occultist, and the hustler, and the Gorgor dancer.
Yeah, I think I was
You
a
were a
Gorgor
Gorgor
dance.
dancer.
Yeah. That was just such a unique. It needed to be done.
Yeah. I actually like the relationship that you had with the
Oh,
the girl playing your sister.
yeah. Oh, where are those videos? I need to rewatch them.
Well, they're on the page. They're on the
Yeah,
page.
they were. It was such a good time. Now
Yeah.
we need season 2 sometime soon.
Yeah. Yeah, I would definitely want Dido. I definitely would like you and Dido back. And
Yeah, let's do it. I think
yeah.
that would be because I had like a butt attack and stuff like that, which was
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, there's still a lot of that like, like kind of goofy stuff because I wanted it to be a little goofy because
Yeah,
that's kind of you want those moments of levity because otherwise it just becomes a slog.
yeah,
Like it just it can get too grim. And I didn't want it to be grim. I wanted there to be these moments that like you kind of live for where just something truly strange happens. Like you get caught in a time loop or you're caught like or like it's Valentine's Day. What do you do? You're a monster.
yeah.
It's Valentine's Day. What do you do? What does that mean? Um, there's an adventure I have that is basically like the Christmas adventure. Because I don't know why I always like doing Christmas adventures. It's probably the 80s movie fan in me. Like do
Yeah, I
something,
mean, it was like a staple of the 80s, and I would think particularly the 90s, just these like weird slice of life Christmas movies.
yeah, well, they would also do like a lot of action movies on Christmas.
Yeah,
It sounds like fun. You want
Die
to play a
Hard.
Kappa? Ooh, I'll have to consider that. We are gonna after the first book, we are gonna introduce one of the books that we intend to introduce is the Yogai. You know, and their whole thing. Like, there's already a major NPC that's in the book that's a Yogai. And like how they differ. One of the ones I'm struggling with, however, that I really want to do something with, but I don't exactly know how to do it while making it work, which is the Skinwalker.
Ooh, Yeah.
Yeah, like that's a hard one. That's a difficult one. Because like there isn't really an indigenous fiction romance involving a skinwalker.
Not yet.
Not yet anyway, and I don't know if I need I don't know what elements I need because I'm not as versed in Native American lore. I'm reasonably versed in a lot of Native American modern Native American culture stuff.
Yeah.
But kind of but as an outsider, you
Yeah.
know. I don't really have a lot of I mean, I have more inside knowledge on voodoo than I do on Native American stuff. You know, and that's just because I've attended a voodoo ritual.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
write what you know, especially starting out, and then you
yeah,
can
yeah.
expand to kind
We'll
of the
probably
weirder.
do the voodoo stuff first because
Yeah.
we already we've already like made space for it. We just aren't gonna explore it too heavily in the first book because we needed to cut features somewhere just to get a book out. You know, I didn't want to make like one huge book that was impossible to reference. Like that's the other thing that's good about supplements is that if you do them right, they're easy to reference because you're like, oh, that one's in this book. You know, it's like having an extra little index. You know,
Yeah.
But so what? So your discussion on publishing, what was the big takeaway?
I think, I mean, obviously we kind of went from the beginning to the end, but I think one of the biggest parts that we tried to stress was like a nice balance. I think a lot of people going into this sort of thing believe that passion will kind of carry you throughout it all. But you got to make sure like you're doing stuff to keep yourself healthy and not like working at it 24/7, and also ensuring like you get paid, like passion will carry you a decent way, but in the end you need to make sure like your needs are met. uh Passion won't put food on the table. You
Yeah,
gotta
yeah.
you gotta
Passion will
make
only put
sure.
food on the table if you do it right.
Yeah, yeah. So you gotta, hopefully by the end of this, when you're done with your Kickstarter, you walk away with well-deserved money.
Yeah, yeah. One funny enough, one thing the example that a friend of mine kept using whenever I doubted the creative and artistic direction of the project, and I'm hoping he's right. He's always like, remember, someone at Capcom said giant big titty vampire woman with a big hat.
Yep.
And they were right. They were 100% right. And I'm like, yeah, somehow that Lady Dimitrescu encapsulated Capcom's whole aesthetic in one character.
Yep, it did.
And it worked because they've done stuff like that before and it didn't work. Like, what was it, Haunting Grounds? There were a lot of big boobs in Haunting Grounds, but didn't quite work.
Haunting Grounds, was that the fighting game? Oh no, that's a survival.
No,
right?
it's a survival horror game where you don't fight, which I think for Capcom was a misstep. It was like supposed to be Clock Tower 4. Or it was either Clock Tower 4 or 3. I forget which one it was supposed to be. But then they were like, this is so different from Clock Tower. We might as well call it something else. But it's considered to be part of the series.
The thing that kind of reminds me, the like media that reminds me of your game the most would be Darkstalkers.
There's a lot of that.
Yeah. And I think like, it's super famous because you got Morgan and Lilith and those very hot
and the
attractive characters.
Felicia,
Yeah. It's like people know what they want. And,
it's like, all right, it's a monster plus a hot chick.
Exactly. And they also had, other characters too, but like those were the mascots for it, and rightfully so.
Yeah, yeah. Those are the sidekicks. Like, oh,
Hmm.
look, it's Dimitri, the fire vampire. He's super
Yep.
powerful. And you're like, yeah, nobody cares.
Yeah. Give me
Get,
Lilith.
let's have another succubus character in here somewhere. Oh, what?
Yeah.
There's a hopping vampire girl in it now? Sure. She have boobs?
Oh
She does.
yeah.
All right.
Oh
There we
man,
go.
I'm looking up all the characters now because you're taking me back. Oh, there was, yeah, Lilith was and strangely, because with the name Lilith you anticipate her being kind of the what I assumed Morgan was trying
Yeah,
to be,
exactly. Exactly.
but it's kind of
Because
the
you're like,
opposite.
Morrigan, she doesn't
Yeah.
bats? Morgan is ravens. Like, what's going on? And
Yeah.
they were just sort of like, uh, European folklore. Okay, there's a thing called the Morgan. She's a death goddess. We'll make her a succubus. There you go. Done.
Yeah.
She has green hair. Why? Because she's from Ireland. You know what?
That's
That
how
makes
it
about as
happens.
much sense as anything else we've done. So, like, why not? You know?
Yeah. Oh, and was it Hyson Co? That was the jumping vampire, I think,
Mm-hmm.
right? Oh
Actually, one of
man.
my favorites was the Yeti.
Oh yeah, the Yeti was really cool.
Yeah, because it turns out the Yeti is actually like a robot, and inside the robot is a Red Riding Hood. Where I was like, what?
The mummy was super interesting to me, just because he's like this swole mummy,
Mm-hmm.
this huge guy, and it's like, whoa. The Bushido guy was interesting too, with like his giant monster chest piece.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. If I remember him correctly, he was basically a living piece of samurai armor and shit.
yeah, he was like the spirit of Bushido.
Yeah, yeah,
That was, oh, Lord Raptor, the zombie with like the electric guitar.
yeah. That guy was awesome.
Oh, I feel like for like a Kickstarter party, we should just like do some 2-on-2 or 1-on-1s of Darkstalkers stream.
They need to make a new one of those, man.
Yeah, I forget what
Like,
the last
give it the
one.
recent Street Fighter treatment. You know?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what the last one was, and 2013.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. It's been a hot minute. It's been a
Mm-mm-mm.
minute. Like, I still remember when they brought back Street Fighter, and
Yeah.
you're walking around the floor of the convention, and you're like, oh, it's Capcom. Capcom ain't doing shit these days. Because this was like they had nothing at this
Hmm.
period of time, and they're like Street Fighter 4, I think it was. It's like, Street Fighter 4, and I'm like, Street Fighter 4, really? And then all of a sudden you hear that Guile theme, and you're like, oh shit. So you go over there, and there's Guile fighting Ryu in like Chicago, the streets of Chicago, and like, dude, they're like girls like dancing on top of fucking lowriders and shit as they're bouncing
Yeah.
up and down. Because as someone gets lower and lower health, as the health of both characters gets lower together, the more excited the crowd got. And I'm like, oh god damn it, Capcom, you fucking
Oh,
got me.
and I feel like some of the I mean, at least Morgan has been in some other fighting games.
Oh yeah, she's been in a couple, but like, we need like a modern one. We need to give her like the Yuri treatment,
Yeah.
from Street Fighter 5, and do that. Like, why not?
Yeah, let's bring it back. That should just be the new poll, the new thing that we want.
Yeah. Like, maybe make the werewolf guy a Chippendales dancer type dude.
Yeah, they need to add like the Five Nights at Freddy's like animatronic things to it too, and some of the other wacky. I think oh man, I'm tripping on the word, but the Deadites, right? That's
Evil Dead.
Evil Dead, right?
Yeah.
Those were the Deadites, right?
Yeah, those are the Deadites.
I just rewatched Evil Dead, I guess Rising was their latest
Oh, Evil
one.
Dead Rise. Yeah.
There we go. That was the intro was fantastic.
Yeah. I actually love that whole movie.
It
Especially when you
was
get to the end and you're like, I didn't know they could do that.
yeah, it was very like it felt like I was going back to the thing,
Yeah.
that little
Yeah, you're
I
like,
guess
wait, they can
conclusion.
merge with each other and make like a giant mass of like bloody okay.
It was so cool. They did such a good job with it, and then they like I don't know what happened. I'm kind of waiting for something new.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know what they're gonna do for a next one. I think Fede Alvarez's new movie was oh crap. What was it, Abigail? Hold on, Fede
Was that the vampire one?
Alvarez. Yeah, have you seen it?
No, I really want to. I'm waiting for
Oh,
it to
he
come
did.
on.
Alien. He did the Alien movie that's coming out.
Oh, Alien Romulus, right?
Yeah, that's what he's been doing.
Interesting. Well, we'll see how. I don't know. Like so far the trailers make it feel very much like an Alien movie, but I guess it's like it doesn't feel like anything new, and so you're kind of like,
I'm gonna put for now. I'm putting my trust in Fede Alvarez because like
yeah,
I've liked every horror movie he's done. I like Don't Breathe. I liked frickin' his Evil Dead movies.
yeah. That Evil Dead was really good. That was really good.
Yeah. I thought excuse me. His version of Texas Chainsaw was pretty good.
Mm.
But well, he just wrote that, but still,
Yeah.
what were some of the others that
Have you seen the guys who did Men? Um
I fucking
Alex Garland.
yeah. I actually really liked that movie. I thought I was afraid that it was just going to be like an insufferable not all men
Yeah,
type of
yeah.
movie. Except it turned out it's a really amazing not all men movie.
It was so uncanny, especially using the same actor for all the men and
Oh,
uh,
dude.
oh
Dude, that whole last 20 minutes, like it's a build up to the last 20 minutes and then the movie just goes bonkers.
yeah, it is trippy as hell and just so weird, and it
Yeah.
was really
And
cool.
I liked how it really cut to the heart of
Yeah,
male abuse, of men abusing women and how that works because I have no window into that world except through film.
yeah,
Like that's one of the things that's really frustrating about being a guy that doesn't behave that way, which is it's
mhm,
hard to conceive of thinking that way because you're like, what? Why would I do that? That doesn't make any sense. Why would you? What? I so don't think that way. So
yeah,
having someone actually like, oh no, like that's what happened. It's like, oh my God, I'm looking. It's another male, but like they might as well be an alien.
yeah, yeah. It was uncanny. It was weird. It was. If someone hasn't seen that film, they should definitely put it
Oh
on like
yeah, Men
their things to
by
do.
Alex Garland. Check it the fuck out. It's so good. And
Yeah,
the irony is I think I normally that kind of that kind of a film, you would assume would have to have been done by a woman in order to get it right.
Mm-hmm.
But when you
Well, he came
watch the
under
movie,
fire because of it.
yeah. But having seen the movie, I'm like, oh no, this movie is all about male psychosis.
Mm-hmm.
It had to be done by a guy. A guy had to be one of the creative forces behind it, because it had to be. You're revealing this, even if you're not an abusive asshole. It's revealing this very deep, very uncomfortable
Yeah.
shit about being male.
And there was I guess the female perspective. There was I guess a thriller horror-esque movie that came out a couple years ago. I think it was Promising Young Woman, was the name of it. Yep, there we go. Promising Young Woman.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
That one is really good too. Follows a woman who kind of like hunts down the men. And it has a very tragic ending, but dear God, it's spot on and amazing.
Yeah, I actually hate it when those kind of stories have a tragic ending.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the tragedy has already happened.
Yeah.
So it just feels
I
like
mean,
more on top of it, you know?
It was a good, and like it was I'll go watch it. Go watch it. It's
okay.
definitely worth watching. It's truly like a very unique movie, and yeah, the main actress too, what's her name? Carrie Mulligan. I've always enjoyed her work too.
Yeah. Oh God, I love the sorry, going back to Men for a minute. I
Yeah.
love the last moment before the credits roll, where the main actor is just like God,
Smiling
damn
at the
it.
camera.
Yeah, smiling at the no. Before, not the mid roll.
Okay.
But when we first cut to black and the credits start rolling.
Yeah.
You know, where she's just like, fuck. You know, like, really? It was that obvious the whole time? That was it? That's the reason? If I wasn't so tired, I would smack you. Like just her whole face just
I
said
was
that.
very surprised. It's kind of like that credit scene when the friend comes and you realize that it was all like real, and you're like, okay, like what does that mean? What the heck happened here?
Well, because abuse is real. The trauma, the abuse and the trauma of the abuse is real.
Yeah. It was such a because I felt like the last 10, 15 minutes was so like surreal and weird. You were almost thinking like, is it in their mind? Is it just like, will it always be ambiguous? But no, they're just like, yeah, it happened. It was weird.
It happened, bro.
It was so weird.
Well, there are sometimes, it was really common for movies in the 90s to be like, it was just a dream, and then you, the audience, go like, oh, fuck you.
Was it like Donnie Darko, like at the end, just kind of like sidestep?
Well, Donnie
it's been a while
Darko,
since
it
I
wasn't
watched
a
it,
dream. It all really happened, but it's like an alternate reality.
Yeah, a parallel.
Yeah, a parallel timeline. The one that I always think of as being like, God damn it, fuck you, movie, you cheated me, is Boxing Helena.
Boxing Helena. Oh.
Yeah. Have you seen that one?
Let me double check.
It's got Julian Sands in it as a man who rescues a woman from a car accident and then cuts her limbs off and keeps her.
Oh, snap.
And then
I have not seen this movie, but now
yeah. At one point, he literally puts her on a pedestal.
Oh, geez.
But like, you get to the end and it's like, oh, it was all a dream. And you're just like, oh, fuck you. I just watched that.
Yeah.
How dare you fucking pull that crap on me and not earn it?
See M. Night Shyamalan twist before M. Night.
Yeah. Like another movie that did something similar where it was a dream, but it was all okay. It all still worked. Was Company of Wolves.
Ooh, Company of Wolves. I do not think I've seen that one.
Oh my God, it's one of the best werewolf movies ever made.
Oh, it looks freaky.
It's amazing. It is Little Red Riding Hood told.
Yeah.
The framing device is that it's a girl on the cusp of puberty, and she's asleep in her room, and this is a dream she has. And in that dream, she dreams that she is Little Red Riding Hood in a dark forest in the middle of somewhere Western Europe. And Angela Lansbury is the grandmother. And every story, she is told several stories throughout the film until the last one. Well, not the last. No, you'll know why it's confusing when you see it. Until we get to the one that's actually about her.
Yeah.
And it's about her discovering men. The whole thing is all about female sexuality. That's the whole movie. From learning about it to one's first kiss to what one might truly desire. And how, yeah, in that context, the guy is the big bad wolf. But
Yeah,
is he
I'm
so
like
big?
looking.
But is he so big and is he so bad?
I'm looking at a scene right now where it's like this guy gets like this huge tongue.
Yes. Yeah,
Ugh.
because like the way the werewolves change is not always they change in different ways. And one of them he literally like rips his own face off and there's a wolf underneath.
Which is a really cool way. It reminds me of what is it, American Werewolf
In London?
yeah.
Yeah. And there's also a really great interlude. It's really interesting because it covers everything and it's not afraid to do it. And it's a story in a movie you could tell was done by a woman.
Yeah.
One of the things that it touches upon is the nature of it. It even touches upon these sort of like, I don't know what you would call it. It's not, it does it talks about objectification, but it
Yeah.
doesn't talk about objectification in black and white terms. It's not like, oh, that's bad. It's really, yeah. Isn't there a part of all of us that kind of enjoys that?
Yeah.
You know, and Terrence Stamp is in it. He plays the devil. He's in it very briefly. Because in the middle of this forest, all of a sudden a limousine with Terrence Stamp rolls up. And the girl is like his sexy assistant. You know, and he gives a boy like, oh, if you want to be a real man, you'll take this. And he does, and all of a sudden he starts growing hair off of his chest and his fucking genitals. He's like, he's turning into a wolf because he's getting hairy.
As they do.
It also has the great line, if there is a beast in man, it has its equal in woman. Which I thought was just lovely. And it's a really good movie. It is a really good movie. It's one of the best. It's absolutely the best retelling of Little Red Riding Hood, and it's one of the best werewolf movies ever made.
Yeah. I feel like we haven't had a good werewolf movie in some time.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while since we had a good werewolf movie. Werewolves Within was good.
Werewolves Within.
Yeah, they did a movie based on Werewolves Within. It's a horror comedy.
Yeah.
That one was pretty good. There's another werewolf movie called The Wolf of Snow Hollow that I won't ruin for you.
Wolf of
The
Snow
Wolf of
Hollow.
Snow Hollow.
Ooh, 2020. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
certainly recent.
Yeah, that was a really good one. Late Phases is also really good. That is kind of uh, an old blind veteran realizes that someone in his neighborhood is a werewolf.
Ooh. It will be interesting to to see if there's any additions to the werewolf genre, kind of like what 30 Days of Nights did with vampires. Um,
Yeah.
and then it kind of like we walked it back with I guess, Interview with a Vampire, but that was already out, but just kind of the retelling of it and stuff like that. There hasn't really been another I guess unique vampire uh since 30 Days a Night that I've seen and enjoyed.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't seen Beast. Someone mentioned Beast Within. I haven't seen that one yet. That came out
Ooh,
this year. So,
Beast Within.
yeah, that came out in late Oh, that only came out a few weeks ago.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Oh, looks pretty gay. That's not a bad thing. I'm just like a lot of shots
Kit
of a dude's
Harrington.
like
Yeah.
yeah, of a dude's like fucking muscly back. So I'm like, all right,
That's what we would look like if we were forced to chop wood.
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. We're a few chopping wood hours away from looking like that.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that's good. Where can let's see. Beast Within Just Watch.
Someone mentioned Good Manners.
The Beast. No, that's 1982. That's not what I'm looking for. All right, hold on. We gotta get more specific. 2024. The Beast Within. It is on Fandang. Oh, it's in the theater.
Huh.
Oh, it's not on VOD. Huh. Well, what's this? Hold on.
I'm looking at Good Manners right now. That looks interesting.
Good Manners.
Yeah, someone mentioned it in the chat. It does look weird.
What's it called again? Good Manners.
Yeah, Good Manners. It's a Portugal movie from
It's
Portugal.
from 2017.
Yeah,
Huh.
2017, 2018.
Mysterious and wealthy Warner hires a lonely nurse named Clara. Do. Huh. Hold on. One. Okay. Woman gives birth to a werewolf.
Which is so like
Alrighty then.
yeah. Ooh, seen Howl.
Alrighty then. Howl was fun. That's the one on the Werewolves on a Train, right?
Oh, which is perfect.
That one was amazing.
We need
Because
more monsters on train movies.
Yeah. It's just a pure monster attack movie. You know, I mean, it's got a lot of twists and turns. It's a good plot. It's a good story. Like it's really good.
Holy heck, the werewolves look insane.
Oh, they did such a good job with the
I'm gonna have to
sequences.
check that out. That looks amazing.
Yeah, how did I forget how? I mean, that thing, it was 2012, like 2016.
Which is so long ago. Isn't that like 10 years?
I know, it was like 8
More
years
than
ago.
10. Yeah.
No, but it's so
ridiculous.
good. It's such a good movie.
Oh my god. Yeah, it looks amazing. We just like there just needs to be its own genre of like every sort of supernatural creature on a train. Well,
I want more like Creature from the Black Lagoon movies.
Ooh, yeah.
You know, we got, I mean, don't get me wrong, we got The Shape of Water, which got an Oscar, which I still can't believe.
Well,
I mean, it
they
deserved it, but I'm like, it's one of those like, I thought it deserved an Oscar, but why did you?
yeah.
How did you guys come to the same conclusion? Aren't you guys stupid? You know,
When they finally agree with you and you're like, "What?
what did
I
I
don't
get
know if I
dumber?
trust
You know,
this." And they did Vampire, but on a plane with Blood Red Sky, which was really
oh,
cool.
that was fun. That
Um,
was fun. I could not. I was like, okay, I got to watch this movie because I got to see what they do with this because I'm having trouble.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
I'm having trouble visualizing what a vampire on a plane would be like. Wouldn't it just be like, well, I'm a vampire, I'm on a plane, you're all dead now?
yeah,
And the
yeah.
answer is yes, but there are so many twists and turns to that movie.
They did a good job with it for making that very small setting feel like a lot was going on.
Oh, Curse of the Vampire by Hammer with Oliver Reed. That
Ooh,
movie
Curse.
is tits, literally, because there's a lot of cleavage in that movie.
Curse of the Werewolf.
Curse of the Werewolf, but with Oliver Reed. You know, it's a lot of British actresses with like tan makeup on, like, you know, and they made sure that they got actresses that would not fit the dresses, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, that's just
You
part of
know?
it, right?
Yeah, it is a great movie. It's
Yeah.
really weird because it's basically a redo of The Wolfman with Oliver Reed. And Oliver Reed, when he becomes the Wolfman, all of a sudden he's got a poet shirt on and his chest is exposed, but it's all hairy because he's a
Yeah.
werewolf.
It's on either side. It was very much I would do anything Meatloaf in his
Oh
uh
yeah,
that whole music video, right?
yeah. Which one? The I'd do anything for love,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
or
Where he turns into and is like, like he has the bare chested, like it was so like Victorian. I'm a disturbed artist, but
yeah,
sexy.
yeah. When you oh god, what was it? I think the intro to that was on a hot summer night. Will you give your heart to the wolf with the red roses? You know, like there's this like his talking bit that he and that singer like have in the intro of the song on the album. I think it's that album. There are a lot of Meatloaf albums. Like I could be remembering it wrong.
Yeah, yeah. I just remember that music video was epic. A lot
Yeah.
lot goes on in
Well,
that little
fucking
video.
Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula had just come out.
You
You
got
know,
to.
I just watched that recently, and the thing that I thought was so funny is it seemed so modern at the time. But looking back on it, I'm like, actually, this is as cheesy as any Hammer film. Like, clearly, that's what he was going for. He was like, I
Mhm.
want to do a Hammer film, but what I'm going to add is I'm going to add all those a bunch of weird visual effects like we would have seen in an old 30s black and white movie when we were doing like German Impressionism and shit.
Yeah.
You know, or rather, probably a better example would be Jean Cocteau. Like we would do all these weird Jean Cocteau things. Like, you know, like they're looking up at the sky and there's like Dracula's eyes. He's looking at them and you're like, what? Is that literally happening? That seems weird. But like it doesn't really matter. You
Mhm.
know. That the music video is made by Michael Bay. Are you fucking shitting me? That was a Michael Bay fucking music
That
video?
couldn't have been. I don't believe it. Meatloaf.
It's amazingly well done for Michael Bay anything. Damn. Huh.
Oh yeah, wow. Directed and produced by Michael. That freaks me out.
What's weird because like you don't think of Michael Bay as having any talent.
No, like or especially that, I guess, romanticism in his directing, like associate, like
Yeah. Like I don't know, maybe that was more the production designer. You
yeah,
know,
that was just That's interesting that
Or maybe Jim
Michael Bay.
Steinman's lyrics just carried him along like they
Yeah,
often do.
Meatloaf was just like, we're going to do it this way.
It's gonna be Beauty and the Beast. I'm gonna be Beast because I'm Meatloaf.
Mm-hmm.
And
Meatloaf.
it's gonna be a hot chick writhing around on a bed and then onto my piano as I play it. And there'll be candlelights
Exactly.
all over the place. And then all of a sudden, for a brief moment, it turns into Phantom of the Opera, even though it's Beauty and the Beast. And then there'll be guys on motorcycles chasing me. And then I'll get on a motorcycle and they'll chase me on motorcycles. You know?
Oh, God.
That video is insane.
Yeah, I'm still tripping that was Michael Bay. That what happened?
Oh, man. Most of the Duran Duran music videos are made by the guy who directed Highlander. Yes, that I knew. Highlander, something I'm so glad we stopped making.
There can only be a few.
There can only be some. You know,
Yeah.
like the first one's pretty good. You know, but the problem is some of the sequels are so bad they make the first movie suck retroactively.
Yeah.
You know.
It's like, we forget. Sometimes I forget how amazing The Matrix is because I keep thinking of the others, and then I'm like, The Matrix was amazing.
Yeah,
I had to go back. And
I
just,
actually really
remember
like
it.
Matrix Resurrection. I'm like one of those weirdos that
Oh.
actually really like that movie.
I thought it was okay in like the same quality as probably the other ones.
Oh,
but
see, I disagreed.
yeah.
I disagreed. I thought that should have been the sequel the whole time.
Oh, interesting.
You
Yeah.
know?
It would have definitely been, I think it would have been a better movie if it was the sequel.
Yeah, what also had that it also pulled this this trick that I really like.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where it redefined what it meant to be the one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there is no one. You know, there is
Yeah.
only the one. You know.
I just like when Matrix came out, it had such a cool visual, and the action scenes were so unique and interesting. And it's a big ask, but I wanted them to do the same thing. I wanted them to redefine the action genre, with really cool visuals and a nice haunting tale that the Matrix has.
It's hard.
Yeah, it's a big ass. I mean, John Wick, I feel, did it, but you can't something like that only comes around like every decade.
Exactly. It is difficult.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and of course it had that amazing soundtrack, right? Like all good 90s movies had an amazing soundtrack.
They did, yeah. I mean, think about the animated series of movies done by what is it? Was it Pixar? But like Treasure Planet, Titan AE.
Yep, they all. Even if the
Atlantis
movie
was
itself wasn't that good, like there was a chance you would have a kick-ass soundtrack.
Yeah, exactly. I still listen to those soundtracks to this day because they're memorable. I mean, Goo Goo Dolls with Treasure Planet, right? That was that was awesome.
Yeah. A lot of great stuff. But yeah, I think that there were two soundtracks that kind of reigned supreme. One was The Matrix, the other was The Crow.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, those two reigned supreme, because they were just so good. The soundtrack itself was so good, I kind of miss those days when a movie would have like an amazing soundtrack.
Me too. And we're talking about like the music that I guess was also prevalent during that time, because the Matrix had like the soundtrack was like the instrumental soundtrack was good, but I feel like what really was awesome was like Marilyn Manson and a few others who like
Marilyn Manson, Rollins Band, The Cure, Machines of Loving Grace, Stone Temple Pilots, it was just
Yeah, it's like if you wanted to hear what the
My Life
90s
with a Thrill Cult
was.
was also on that soundtrack. You know,
Yeah.
they wrote the song After the Flesh for The Crow. You know,
Oh, it's so good. And it was
there are
such
a
a
lot of innocent
punky.
people being crucified. You
I
know?
feel like the 90s we were very like against the man.
Yes,
Very punk. 90s was punk.
yeah, very punk, very goth, and I wonder often what happened because, in my opinion, they're like, "Well, Gen X was the feral generation," and I'm like, "Yeah, apparently we were." I
Mhm.
thought that's just the way everybody was. You
Yeah,
know,
I feel
where it's
like
just sort of like, yeah, man, let's fucking hang out under an underpass, throw beer bottles at cars passing by while smoking. You know, like that's just what you did in those days. You just did that
Well,
kind of thing back then.
yeah, it was the 80s and the 90s. You know, you had Terminator, Johnny, what was it, Mnemonic?
Johnny Mnemonic, yeah.
Yeah, and all these like anti-establishment sort of movies. And then I feel like a couple decades went by, and now for the most part, I feel like we're stuck in a sort of cynicism with like Don't Look Up. Um,
Well,
trying to figure out like some
here's
other
the
like
good
sci-fi
thing.
films.
Here's the good. Oh yeah, no, sci-fi is in the dumpster.
Yeah.
It's absolutely in the dumpster. Horror is golden right now.
Horror, yeah, it continues to
Horror is
be
golden.
amazing.
To the point where when I meet people who aren't horror fans, I'm just like, do you not watch movies? Because
They don't,
anything
yeah.
that's not a superhero film is a horror film.
Yep.
You know, like those are because horror is evergreen. It always sells. It only ever doesn't sell so badly.
Yeah.
You know,
And
as
there's
long
like,
as it's
you
made
know,
competently. You know,
there's a month dedicated to horror films, which, you know, no other genre has.
exactly.
Well,
know?
no other genre worth watching. I feel like February belongs to the Disney-esque horrible romance movies that come out. They kind of put out every year, but
Yeah. Yeah, Gen Z and Gen Alpha are turning out pretty feral. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. But like, I don't think it's a mistake. I don't think it was a complete coincidence that like fascism reared its head when it did.
yeah.
You know, because the first thing that started happening, the first discussion that happened, I couldn't believe it, was people saying, well, do we really want to resort to violence? And I'm like, we're dealing with literal Nazis again. Yes.
Yeah, like let's get back to
Yeah,
it, right?
yeah, violence is now back on the table because of this, you know, because what people, there's a phrase that I am like, I know you got to go, but I need to talk about this a little bit.
Yeah, let's finish your thought, man.
Yeah. The paradox of tolerance, you know, and I found myself going, no, it's not a paradox. It's a contract. It's an agreement. I tolerate you, you tolerate me. If you break that agreement, I can choose to be the better man, but I am not in the wrong if I sink to your level.
Yeah.
Because you have broken that agreement. You know, I now get to do something about it because that was why we agreed in the first place, so that we wouldn't pull this shit. So if one person pulls it out, well, at that point, it's all about whether or not it's okay to be you.
Yeah, and like, you know, let's go back to, you know, the punk of the 90s where we were like throwing bottles at shit and like saying, hey, don't do that, you know, let us be free and how we want to be free, you know?
All those times, and I knew we couldn't trust the news because of there were so many protests in DC against like the KKK and shit like that, and neo-Nazi groups, where they ended up in riots. You know, they ended up in riots because like the punks would show up and just be like, get the fuck out. Like, get the fuck out. We're done. Bottles, bricks, cinder blocks, you know, like just chucked at these people. you know, running them off of the National Mall. Like you don't know about that. Any of that shit happened. You know, they never covered it, but I know what happened. I was there. You know?
Yeah, it feels like America often, they try to bring back, in terms of like the Civil War statues and stuff like that, all these moments in time that, weren't really like that awesome. When there are significantly cooler moments that have happened recently, that they just
Yeah.
kind of don't cover at all. Like it would be awesome to see in the history books and stuff like that, these like punk movements
But
where
these are like,
people
but
were
this is
like,
our history. No, it isn't.
yeah,
That's the thing that always offended me, which is like, oh, this is about history. No, it isn't. It's about mythology.
yeah,
You know,
it's
it's mythology. You're making up a mythology and masquerading it as history.
mhm.
Who gives a shit? Why would we make a statue of Custer? He lost. Do we usually make statues to the loser?
I know, right?
You
Put
know,
a
hey, there's a statue of General Lee, the guy that surrendered. We don't
yeah.
usually do that, you know.
I always feel put a because we have a statue in Druid Hill Park here in Baltimore,
Oh yeah,
but nearby is someone carved the face of like the Green Man into a tree, and I'm like, let's just go with that,
yeah,
Let's take out the statue, let's put something horrific there, just be like, well, let's own it.
yeah. The Confederacy is our history. Well, of telling a big fat lie. Yeah, exactly, Joseph Hall. Exactly. It's our history of telling a big fat lie.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, because tell that to the folks in Monroe I fight with. Okay, hey, you in Monroe that Bernard Cody is fighting with, the Confederacy is a big fat lie.
Yeah,
You
let's
know,
like, let's put the cool American things that I feel like we can all be proud of. I wouldn't mind a John Wick Keanu Reeves statue, um,
oh,
or
Bill and Ted, why not be
yeah,
excellent to each
exactly,
other?
right? Yeah, like I think everyone could be happy with that. I could be proud of that,
Yeah, if
be
we're
like,
gonna
that was
make
some good
shit
stuff.
up, right? You
Yeah,
know,
like
just be
those
like,
were
they're local gods. You know.
those were wins, man. Let's also confuse people in like a couple of centuries. They're like, who was this guy? Who's
Yeah.
probably still alive, Keanu Reeves.
Well, it was like
Uh,
it was one of those things where it's like sometimes you make a statue out of the person who lost, but it was because it was badass.
mhm.
You know, like my favorite thing where they lost but they became heroes anyway is the 47 Ronin.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good story.
Yeah, that's an amazing story. And so when people are like, "Oh yeah, the 47 Ronin," you're like, "No, I get why you look up to them. They lived
Yeah,
up to to the expectations that you would have had of the samurai to the degree that it literally killed them."
yeah.
And they
Like
were
Philly should just have statues of Gritty. I think that's
Oh, I agree.
yeah,
Oh, I agree. Have a statue of Dolly. I think we got a few of those.
yeah.
But I
Dolly
think
Parton.
I think, but I'll be honest. I think when she finally dies, I feel like we should have a decade where we just redo the Statue of Liberty to look like Dolly Parton for a bit.
That would be awesome. Yeah, just
You
like
know?
a decade of Dolly Parton,
Yeah.
Dolly of Liberty.
Yeah, the Dolly of Liberty right there.
Yeah.
You know, like were the triple D boobs really necessary? It's Dolly Parton, bitch.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's Dolly, right?
It was absolutely necessary. Like Lady Liberty's like teats are filled with the milk of freedom. That's what that is.
Freedom teats. It's just like people coming in on boats get a nice spray. As they
Yeah.
come in.
Bonk. Yeah, hell yeah. At least Las Vegas ought to do something like that.
Yeah, that would that would be an interesting turn in American politics for that to
Yeah,
happen.
I'd be all for it. At that point,
It would be awesome.
At that point, we become a little bit more like Europe in a good way. You know.
Yeah. We just embrace some weirdness. We're just like, let's go for it.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll let you go.
Well, I appreciate you having me. And
Since you
yeah,
gotta
I
go.
would love to pop on again. Always talk about horror and especially Babylon. I'm so excited to see when that Kickstarter
Oh
comes out.
man, the artwork's coming in. It's looking pretty
Oh,
good.
you better send me
Pretty
those
good.
pics.
Oh
Send me
sure,
those
sure.
sweet
You got
pics.
it. You got it, man. All
All
right.
right.
Well, I will talk to you later there, Mitch. I will talk to you
All
later,
right.
Mitch.
See you later, Jack.
You take
Bye.
care. Night. All right. So let's see. Let's see what the energy is like. Let's see. I see Comrade Soren asks, imagine future storing argue which of Trump's tweets should be considered canon. Oh dear. No. I think all of them, because like the guy is just an idiot. The guy's an idiot, an asshole, and crazy. Stupid, full of shit, and fucking nuts. He's all three. Donald Trump is the Donald Trump of Dan Quayles. You know? As opposed to J.D. Vance, who is the Sarah Palin of Dan Quayles. Yeah, our state scripted. You're talking about Gritty? Hell yeah. Hell yeah, I'd be okay with just be like, nope, Gritty. He's just Philadelphia's mascot now. That's just it. Putin's yeah. We'll make a statue of Donald Trump, but it'll just be a statue of Putin's nuts. You know. And you get to buy like a bat and fucking smack Putin's nuts and hope that he feels it. Or fucking like, or it's a mobile piece of art where it's like the president of the Ukraine just continuously kicking Putin in the nuts while holding him away with one hand. Like Putin's like, oh man, Putin's a piece of shit. He's such a like, what a fucking moron. Oh, be careful, he might kill you for that. I've had people try to kill me over less. Yeah, statue of Jello Biafra pissing on Dan White's tombstone. Oh man, I would put that should be paid for by tax dollars. Let me tell you. Yeah, Andrew Tate. Fucking. I think the statue of Andrew Tate ought to be fucking. It should be a trans athlete who's a wrestler giving him a fucking swirly in a toilet. No, I don't want a Trump sucking Putin's dick. I want fucking dude boy, president of Ukraine, Zelensky, a statue of Zelensky, like playing keep away with fucking Putin, holding him at arm's length, and Putin's like really short, and fucking Zelensky just keeps kicking him in the nuts. He's Aiden Toss. Oh, this guy looks like a fucking idiot. Internet personality and online streamer. Oh, God. Boca Raton, of course. Well, I don't really know who Aiden Toss is, and I think I've decided to keep it that way. If you want to help me not have to know who Aiden Toss is, feel free to donate to the Super Chat. All your money will go to the purpose of helping a guy who would love to erect a statue of Putin getting kicked in the nuts online and paying his bills. Zelensky putting Putin in the camel clutch. Yeah. God. What happened to internet personalities, man? What the fuck happened? Why does it always turn into a fucking sausage party? I thought there was going to be girls around. Bunch of guys trying to get their cocks sucked. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, but I got that and I didn't even have to be an internet personality. So, like, why are you bothering everyone else with that shit? Have I ever been with a girl that didn't give head? I don't think I have. I mean, I've dated girls that I didn't have sex with. There were a few, particularly in the early years of dating. But, like, that doesn't really count. Or does it? No. It doesn't. But anyone I knew who was willing to have, like, sex was also willing to give head. Yeah. I don't. Yeah. And yet they get prostitute shit. Well, it's because prostitutes don't really love them. You know, they're doing it because they're being paid. You know, they're okay with it because money is being changed hands. You can't get someone to enjoy sex with you because you paid them. You could just get them to do it. And I think on some level they know that. And that like, if you allow me to be arrogant for a minute, you know, particularly about my younger years, I think it's so funny that these guys will try so hard to be like these good earners in order to essentially get sexual favors out of people and live these sexual fantasies that I got to do that for free. I didn't need to be like a corporate ladder climber to get that. Yeah. Some dudes got really weird and start calling women females. Yeah, like that was what? Yeah, they found it was easier to make money off of fake outrage, which is not something I cared to do. I actually finally have an answer for why I actually stopped doing videos. Like I knew I had to stop. But I didn't really have the words for it. And the words for it is because I think I was losing sight of who I really was. Like, I was so deep in the weeds that I was like, what am I doing? Like, do I even still enjoy this? Like, what am I doing? Who am I now? You know, and realizing I wasn't having the interactions that reminded me of who I was. You know what I mean? You know, you can get real deep in the weeds in something, particularly when like any amount of fame and celebrity is involved. And by any, I mean like just several dozen people. You know, just a few dozen people, and all of a sudden, like, you can find yourself working to get their approval. And if you do that long enough, you forget whether or not you approve of yourself. And I think I was reaching that point. I really think I was reaching that point, and that's why I stopped, because I was like, I don't know who I am anymore. I think I know who the audience might want me to be, but I don't. I don't want to have to do that in order to find out. You know, I'd rather go back to working at the post office. You know what I mean? Like, Hollywood Shuffle was a big movie for me. You know, the whole, if it comes down to like adding to another like hurtful stereotype of working in the post office, work at the post office. It doesn't matter how much money you make. It doesn't matter how famous you become. Work at the post office. You know? Like kayfabe yourself into a shoot kind of way, or wearing the mask too long kind of way. No. You just lose sight of yourself. It might amount to the same thing, except you're looking at it from the outside, but from the inside, it was, who am I again? And who is the person I really am any good? Does it matter? You know, that's a big one. You know, that was a big one. And Hollywood Shuffle. Yeah. Oh, Hollywood Shuffle's such a good movie. You know, Betty, wing, don't fail me now. Black acting school. We will teach you how to properly act black. You know? Oh. Ouch. Ouch. Yeah, when the mask becomes tries to become the inner self, it dies. They both die. You know, it's a death spiral. All right, you take care, Blonde Artist. Still looking forward to the revision of the picture. It's coming out great. That Blonde Artist has been showing me some of his works in progress, and they're really good. But yeah, one of the reasons I've been getting back into comics lately is, Cat Hermit, you need to watch Hollywood Shuffle. It's a really good movie. It's really funny. Like, if you like the Friday movies, you'll probably like Hollywood Shuffle too. Like, I think it's written by some of the same people, actually. Like, I think John Witherspoon wrote on both of them. Mass trying to be the self. Isn't that just Persona 4? Hey, you caught it. Hey, you caught the point of the game. You know, but like one of the reasons I got this is something I really love, and I'm like, I mean, I'm pretty sure I've read all these comics. I have, like, the issues already. I don't need the omnibus. So why did I want it? And I think the answer is because it reminds me who I am. And the book itself is just so beautiful. Not that the issues of the comic weren't. But it's just I mean, look at this thing. So cool. Is a Spike Lee joint film? Oh, yeah, could have been. That's a movie I watched more than studied. So, like, there's a lot about Hollywood. I could quote huge sections of the movie at you, but I couldn't tell you anything about its production or anything like that. Unlike, what was that one that was directed by Louis C.K.? Was that Pootie Tang? Yes. Yeah, it was Pootie Tang. Okay. Yeah. My thoughts on Crossed Comics. Well, Crossed is more of a publisher, aren't they? You're talking about the company, or are you talking about the comic called Crossed that was written by Garth Ennis? The Crossed Horror series. Oh, the horror series. Okay, I am. Okay, you're talking about the one published by Avatar, right? I haven't read it. Yeah, I haven't read it. So I don't know yet. Whenever someone brought up the comic Crossed, I thought they meant the one that was written by Garth Ennis. I didn't realize it was another one. Oh, wait, no. Wait, what am I thinking of? Apparently that is the same. Oh. Wait. Oh, wait. Yeah. Wait, I did read this. I didn't care for it. I didn't care for it. Yeah, it's the one with the vampire priest with the red cross on his face. Yeah. No, I didn't care for it. I honestly don't think Garth Ennis is very good at horror. Like, when he's just doing, like, insane shit, I think he's good. But the problem is, like, he can only do splatter. What do you mean, wait, what happened? What happened, Cat Hermit? Yeah, the Crossed Horror series, I wasn't a big fan of it. Yeah, I didn't know what comic you were talking about for the longest time. There are a lot of Garth Ennis comics that I really love. Hitman probably being my favorite. Honestly, I thought that rather than doing Kite Man, hell yeah, they should have done Hitman. Because the Hitman is set in the DC universe, and Hitman would work perfectly in that Harley Quinn cartoon universe. It would work perfectly. Zombie Night at the Gotham Aquarium? Like, come on. That one was awesome. I don't know what... Here's my problem. I whenever people say like edgelord or it's too edgy, I don't tend to agree. Because it's never the edge that I have the problem with. It's always, well, this sucked. You know, I always bring it back to whether or not I thought it was good. And yeah, there is a lot of shock just for the sake of shock in his work. But it would be unfair to say that that is true of everything he did. Like, he didn't go through a Frank Miller period where it was like, dude. Like, Frank Miller literally went crazy for a bit. You know, same thing with Dave Sims. That guy went so crazy, I don't know if he ever recovered. Crossed is kind of like the sadness, but yeah, 9/11 did a lot to Frank Miller. Like, he went completely bug fuck after him because of that. Yeah, I don't know how to describe it because, like, I read the first collection of Crossed back when it first came out. I had actually forgotten that that was the title of it until I, like, started looking at the covers. And I was like, that cover, I remember that cover. But, yeah, it just didn't do anything for me. Yeah, number name. Here's my thing. I have seen so much, it's hard to shock me. It'll happen. Greasy Strangler shocked me. Serbian film shocked me. You know, you can do it. I'm not so cynical that I don't think anything could shock me, but it does take a bit. You either have to come at it from a very different direction or you've got to go really far. So when people say something is too edgy, that's not how I feel because, like, if it's got edge, that means it cuts. You know? And if it don't cut, I don't consider it to have edge. Now, that's true of a lot of shit for me. Where, like I hate the comic of The Boys because of that. It's like, oh yeah, someone else is getting raped. Yeah, whatever. Which is why I was surprised that the show is so good. it's weird to say that Eric Kripke took what honestly was my I actually hated the comic The Boys. I hated that comic. I actually hated it. So to take a comic that I hated, do the same story, but make it really good, I don't know how Kripke did it. Guy's just got the fucking mask. He's just got a magic touch. Oh yeah, Dave Sims. Yeah, Dave Sims. In the last like 10 years of doing Cerebus the Aardvark, he went on this huge anti-woman screed. If you read it today, you would say, yeah, this is some incel man's rights bullshit. But he wrote that back in like 94. And it got him into a lot of trouble because it was like, Dave, are you okay? Like, we know you're going through a divorce, but are you fucking serious? Oh, I never read Marvel's Ruined. I don't even know what that is. So yeah, when people complain about things just being edgy, like to me, those things generally aren't edgy. Because I've seen them a million times. It's like, yeah, all right. Oh no, a woman getting raped. Isn't that shocking? Well, not the way you did it. And as much as a reputation Alan Moore got for, because people said like, oh, he just uses rape for shock value. No, he doesn't. It's always in the context of toxic masculinity for him. It's always in the context of misogyny. He's like, yeah, men use rape as a weapon against women. And the men that do it don't care. That seems pretty true to life. I mean, that's the story I've gotten from any woman who's told me about their rape. I don't know what else to say other than that, you know? Well, sorry, that got to be a bit of a downer. Let's figure something else out. So, my point is that I don't have a problem with Edge. But just because something has edge doesn't mean that it's good. And that's how I feel. You know, I like stories to have edge. Otherwise, there's nothing for me if it doesn't have it. Alan Moore's early stuff was not that grim. I would disagree, actually. A lot of his shit was pretty grim. If you mean it wasn't that misogynistic, that it wasn't very misogynistic, I would agree. You know, yeah, that's the best way I could think of saying that. Oh boy. Let's see, what else can we talk about? We got another topic, or yeah, V for Vendetta. It's pretty grim. That is a pretty grim story. Whoops. You know, like one of my favorite comics is Faust, Love of the Damned. Which has so much edge, it's ridiculous. There is a sex scene in that comic that lasts for 2 issues. And it is flat out pornographic. It is flat out pornographic, and it is amazing. Because they essentially do Mephistopheles dialogue. I mean, it's rewritten for these characters, but it's Mephistopheles essentially giving his big long diatribe to Faust, while he and Faust are fucking these 2 girls. You know, and the one girl who's fucking the devil is talking about how it's so fulfilling to fuck the devil. And the guy fucking the main character is talking about just how much she fucking is disgusted by him. Because she can't get a nut off. All the while, the devil is just basically essentially doing the monologue from Faust. And I'm just like, this was the whole point of the fucking comic, wasn't it? To do this bit. It lasts for 2 issues. And when I say it's just like, whoa, it's just fucking a sex scene that lasts for 2 issues, I am not kidding. It goes on. Woman after your own heart. Yeah. You know, she's like, I'm seeing the cosmos. I want him to give me everything. I want it all, and I've never hungered for anything more than what I'm having right now. Like, you know, like that kind of shit. The other one is like, hey, I need you to fucking focus. Grab my tits, you piece of shit. I need to fucking come. Oh man.
All this living is so worth dying for.
Yeah. Both Ghost Rider and Devil's Reign have the same like conceit. The devil's got a ledger, you know. Devil wants it back.
Make you feel alive.
And the devil and the main character are psychotic. One, because he's literally Mephistopheles. The other, because he's just crazy. He sees himself as like this superhero, but he isn't. And there are some times I'm wondering if the writer doesn't realize that he isn't either. I mean, let me put it this way. I am sure the writer put a lot of himself in this character. And I loved reading it. But if this is what he thinks about while he has sex, I'm going to be like, get away from me. Don't ever touch me. Don't touch me. Don't ever touch me. I will say this, though. I'm pretty sure that guy gets off to a woman telling him he's a piece of shit. Oh, are you talking about this one? The Future is a Foreign Land? Yeah, Faust's Love of the Damned. It is definitely X-rated.
With these words at hand, the future is a foreign land, so let us pray for more. In 2024, we could grow old together. We could love one another. And there will from them be peace forevermore. Peace forevermore. But if it all burns down, if it all burns down, I will hold
Did you mean that song? It's a good song. It's a very good song. It's it's about the rise of the devil in whatever guise it takes. You know, praying for the destruction of the old ways. A prayer that is always answered in time. It always happens. Why do the Thelemites pray to Babylon? Well, she will come and destroy everything. And after that, only love will remain. Now, there is a continuation of that story, which is the new world arises and is built. Until once again, the dark force rises and destroys it. But is it really a dark force? The goddess Babylon is a great, great, great metaphor because she is not only a goddess of passion and war, she's also a goddess of love. Love is the only thing that remains after war. Therefore, love is more powerful. But love can also cause war. One's love of an individual in the Trojan War, one's love of country in World War II. That was really what that war was all about. And in the end, like, who kind of emerged victorious from that? Well, America did. The land of liberty, the land that would take Lady Liberty as its primary symbol. Babylon came and fucking destroyed Western and Eastern Europe. Will she rise up and destroy America one day? Oh, absolutely. What will rise in its place? I don't know. Probably won't be our problem. But the products of our love is what will go forward. Our children, our hopes. The art that depicts our hopes and dreams, that will always be what propels people forward. Now it has to survive. But as long as something survives, it will. It will be those things. Those things will always survive until there is no mankind left. Yeah, love and violence are key parts of life. It's really hard. It's hard to wrap your head around sometimes. It's hard to get your brain around that. That's the apocalypse. That's Armageddon. That is the great whore rising up to destroy the nations of man. That is Satan rising up and resetting everything to year zero. Or year one, depending on how you count. The year is one! Satan lives! Germany was not destroyed. It was reborn. But it wasn't truly reborn until when? They reunited and became Germany again. Under a new context. Love repaired what hate tore asunder. Oh, but you're just being an optimist. Well, you're just being a pessimist. Will the cycle stop with technology? No. No. No cycle of violence, no cycle of birth and death and rebirth has ever been interrupted one iota by technology. That's not what it does. It's not what it's for. Technology is for solving practical problems. Physical, tangible results. Technology does nothing with the ephemera. Nothing. Nothing ever. Because once it can affect something, it's no longer part of the ephemera. Now it's a physical fact. Technology will not stop war. It never did. Why would it change? Why would that change now? One of the greatest spreads of technology was the Mongol horde. That's the greatest spread of technology of all time. That didn't stop war. Technology will never solve war. It will never even solve humanity's great existential problems. That's not what it's for. That's not what it does. Don't look at it as if it is a god. Technology is not a god. It is a tool. They are tools. Technology is tools. That's all it is. That's all they are. It's all it ever will be and ever has been. Now, don't get me wrong. Good tools are good to have. But just because you can make a better chair doesn't mean like you're going to find meaning and love in life. That's not how that works. If it was, Elon Musk would be Jesus. And he's not. Not even close. He'd be a Buddha, and he's not. Yeah, the Babelfish did nothing to stop war. That was a technology. A weird one, but like, you know. Don't worry about stopping that cycle. Wrong thing to worry about. Learn to stay on the bike. Yeah. Mumble Flashman says is right. Not only did technology help create peace? Yes, but alongside of it, it also gave the promise of complete and total and utter annihilation. Something that was previously unthinkable. We could destroy all life on the planet if we chose. That's not something we could have done before. Technology does not balance. It is all ends of the spectrum at once. As good as something is, and useful as something is, as bad as it is. Look at all the damage that the wheel has done. How many people die in traffic accidents? Fucking wheel. Learn to stay on the bike. Learn to stay on top of things. Mice would never build a better mousetrap. You know, you're right there. Don't worry. You will get the annihilation you need. Many times, in fact. It's fine. Just learn to get back up on the bike. Don't try to stop the cycle. Just learn to get back on it while it's moving. Just assumed bad drivers? Yeah, but bad drivers powered by the wheel. Harnessing fire. Look at all the fucking damage that's done. Internet and technology. Modern technology wasn't going to be any different. You know, and there are some people that deliberately seek out the annihilation of the old self. What do you think a sex change is? Now, did that person die? No. But the person they were was annihilated. That discomfort in their body for feeling they are the wrong gender, annihilated, destroyed, and a rebirth happens. Always, always, always. Do not look to technology for the answer. You're better off looking at history. You're better off looking at stories. And I mean that. I mean that. If you want a reason to be hopeful, read history and read stories. Because nothing, like a phoenix. Because nothing has stopped the chain of storytelling since it started. Hell, we're still telling stories about the Greeks. And that ain't been a real thing in a hot minute. I wonder if this is why people believe in original sin. Well, I can give you a real answer to that. People believe in original sin because St. Augustine was an asshole. He created that concept. That was his deal. That was his axe to grind. Mankind is inherently flawed. The world is inherently flawed. And only by living by these rules set down in this book that we totally made up will absolve you of the sin of existence. You sure about that? Because this seems sick. You put it that way, it seems kind of stupid. But yeah, essentially. Oh, there's something inherently flawed in us. Well, no fucking shit, Sherlock. But St. Augustine blamed lust. Lust will destroy everything. We will become a decadent society that cares about nothing but gratifying itself. And don't threaten me with a good time. Also, I can't help but notice that despite all of these horrible and decadent societies, that we're still here. It's almost as if sex is the one thing that can guarantee a continuation of mankind or humankind. It's almost like we are a sexually reproducing species. Nature's bigger than you. It's just bigger than you. Lock a bunch of guys up in a monastery for a few years, have them write laws about women and sex. What could go wrong? Exactly, Comrade Sauron. Exactly. And we all know nature is bigger than us. Know how I know that? Movies and rock and roll told me that. An echo through the ages.
And a terrible sound, he pulls the spitting high tension wires down. Helpless people on subway trains scream bug-eyed as he looks in on them. He picks up a bus and he throws it back down as he waves through the buildings toward the center of town.
Thank you, Mousedon. Take care.
They say he's got to go, Godzilla. Oh no, there goes Tokyo, Godzilla. History shows again and again how nature points out the folly of man. Godzilla. History shows again and again how nature points out the folly of man. Godzilla. History shows again and again how nature points out the folly of man. Godzilla. Godzilla. History shows again and again how nature points out the folly of man. History shows again and again how nature points out the folly of man. History shows again and again how nature points out the folly of man. Godzilla.
Yeah, see, Godzilla knew it, and I like the fact that Godzilla does destroy the kingdom of man. Even in the legendary films, he does destroy it. You know? Man's primacy over the world ends with the rise of Godzilla. He brings total annihilation. Yeah. David Lynch has emphysema. Yeah, he has emphysema. You know, it's so he was good. God, how old is that guy? He's 78. He's 78. Let's face it, he's been making preparations to wander into the Black Lodge for a while now. You know? Well, a couple of years, like a few years. Don't forget, he did Twin Peaks season 3. You know, and while that was a while ago, like, it wasn't that long ago, was it? Yeah. Okay, that was about 7 years ago. But, like, that's not that long when you consider how old he is. The new cigarette warning. Yeah. Yeah. So don't remember, sometimes don't think that annihilation just means dying in a nuclear holocaust. Sometimes it means the rise of Godzilla. You have a woman cat. Huh? What's that about? I am married to a woman and I have a cat. Huh. I do, yeah. So, or did you mean Cat Hermit has a woman? I thought Cat Hermit was a woman. Ooh, which one's my favorite? I like all of them, but I think Millennium is my least favorite, even though it has one of my favorite Godzilla movies in it. They tell me things to send just bro. Who's they? And I'm taking it that Kramos, that English is not your first language, because these are like some really broken sentence fragments. That's why I came here aware that I don't follow this type of content. Okay. Like, I love Final War. All right, back on Godzilla. I love Final Wars, but the Millennium Era in general, I am not that huge a fan of compared to, like, all the others. David Bowie and Prince were like real life celestial. Dude, you forgot. The son of King Peacock himself, the blessed Freddie of Mercury. Oh, okay, so Spanish is your first language. Okay, all right. Oh, you could no, Synthog. I'm not arguing. I'm not going to argue that Freddie Mercury wasn't one of the greatest singers of all time. Hell no. Maybe the Four Celestials. It's hard to ooh. So we got Freddie Mercury, we got David Bowie, we got Prince. So what did you mean by I have a woman parentheses cat? Who are they? They're the ones who are waiting for you and protect felines. Everything is fine. They only dictate messages to me that I should write live in Chile. Okay. Who's they? Oh. Are waiting for you and your protective felines. Okay. Yeah, I'm not getting it, man. You're going to have to fucking tell whoever's telling you to dictate this to be clearer. Maybe write it in Spanish and then I'll put it through Google Translate. Maybe that'll work better. You don't know who they are. Well, then how are they making you do shit? Yeah, someone called Fox Mulder. We might be talking about aliens. Well, whatever you're going to do, hurry up. This is getting a little tiring. All right. All right. Let's see what we got here. Okay. First time on this channel, and they dictate me messages to write. It's as simple as that. I don't know any more about who or when or anything else. Okay. All right. Well, sounds like you got a problem. All right. All right. I think I'm going to log off for now. I love legendary film Godzilla movies. I think they're awesome. You know, I just keep wanting, I'm waiting for that Gigan. And that Space Hunter Nebula M. Fuck aliens come down. Fucking Gigan shows up. Will he have chainsaw claws this time? Or will he just have the classic hooks? Who knows? Don't need to buy Gribble at the store. Make your own Gribble. You know? I need scissors 61. All right. So I think I'm going to get moving. It was great seeing you all. I want to thank our guest, Mitch Wallace, yet again. Yeah, great seeing you as always. Hail Satan. Have fun in them slut pits. Good luck reading Faust, Love of the Damned, for those of you who choose to check it out. And until then, Ave Satanas, Disco Inferno, and remember,